Hello and welcome to my review of Argel Tal, the Crimson Lord, commander of the Serrated Sun for the Wordbearers Legion for Warhammer, the Horus Heresy from Games Workshop. When I say it from Games Workshop, initially from Forge World, so he is in the Forge World resin. This miniature will cost you £56.50 and consists of a paltry 8 resin components. Not many components with this kit for your £56.50, and also I think he's had a bit of a price increase. When I first purchased him back in October of 2021, so almost 3 years ago, he did cost me £47. So he's had a price increase of £9 in 3 years. I thought £47 was a lot of money for a character back then, but now he's almost at the £60 price point. I thought I would create a re-review of him because it has been almost 3 years, and the rules I used back in October 2021 were, of course, not the plastic Horus Heresy or Horus Heresy 2.0 rules that were released in June of 2022. The format of this review is as usual, so we'll have a look at Argel Tal up close. We'll look at all of the detail and things and see if we can unravel whether he is worth the £56.50. There are no spare parts because it's a character model, so what you see is what you get. So then I'll go through some size comparisons with other Wordbearers minis, and then finally at the end I'll go through all of his rules. So first things first, let's have a look at Argel Tal. Nice looking mini, lots going on. I like his elongated, demonic, corrupted arm with the long hands and the talons. I don't know whether the talons are too big for the hand. Not sure how proficient he is in combat and things with that. I'm sure Sigismund would give him a run for his money. And also the claws and things, he's holding a torso. I think he's just ripped this Space Marine, this Loyalist Space Marine in half, and he's just cradling that torso of the Space Marine. Just shows you how big and demonic Argel Tal has become. I guess the entrails and the lower part of the torso, the legs and things on the scenic base are on the under his hoof are the remains of the one he's clutching. I like the wings. I love a good veiny wing, and there are plenty of veins on these wings that are just throbbing. You've got this spine protruding out of the power plant. It looks like I've had some issues with joins. You can see the green stuff there. I may have mentioned that in the initial review. You've got some teeth and claws and protrusions and things all over the armour. You've even got part of a spine coming out of that shoulder pauldron. Shame we can't see much of the detail from the other one, because there is actually more going on with the other one. There's some kind of like bony skull sort of protrusion. You've got this nice icon, this sort of serrated sun icon there. His head, there's loads of detail, like the horns that are wrapping around him. Very demonic. It reminds me a lot of Onimusha, if you've ever played that game. Reminds me a bit of Devil May Cry, and cross between some Necromorph stuff as well. Yeah, so lots going on. I like the uniform. Although he's demonic and he has these corrupted, tainted, gifts protruding out of his body, there's a lot of symmetry in it, such as he's got 2 hooves. He's got the power armor that has all of these extra sinewy bone things, and his claws are uniform too, and his horn and his wings. It's very symmetrical. You don't normally get that with demonic, possessed and chosen characters. If you look at like the Galvorback, for instance, there's growths and gifts and bone protrusions, things all over. They're very, dare I say it, chaotic chaos. Whereas Argel Tal, there's a uniform corruption about his presence. Anyway, that's all the detail. Lots of detail on this mini. He will stand out. He is great with your Galvorback as well. Let's go through some size comparisons. So here we are then. I'll give you some comparisons with some Galvorback. As I say, They're almost the same height as him. He's on the same 40mm base. He's going to work very, very well with them. He has got wings though, so he can fly, which does allow him to sort of move about at 14 inches. He can use his wings a little bit. But there's the Garv Warback with him, his chums. Speaking of chums, we've also got Zardu Layak and his Blade Slaves. Again, they're going to go very well with him, really do fit the aesthetic. And also something else that will fit the aesthetic is Argel, another. You know, this is kind of like the Argel Tal equivalent, but in Contemptor Dreadnought form, much bigger, you know, really fits the aesthetic of word bearers. When I think of word bearers, I think of Argel Tal, I think of Garv Warback, and I do think of Argel, and I think of Argel as well. Speaking of a Contemptor Dreadnought, right here, yep, still bigger than Argel Tal, and probably would have been similar price as well back then. Compared to some, I say normal for word bearers minis, we've got the Ashen Circle, a bit smaller. We have a word bearer Mark IV plate compared to him, so a bit smaller. The normal troops and things milling about, even the Garv Warback will be smaller. Other than the dreadnoughts, and we also have Lorgar will of course be bigger. Ah, it's interesting actually. So how much bigger is he? Really, considering Lorgar is quite a small one. Don't know whether it's the pose, but they might be a similar height. If not, Argel Tal might be a bit taller than Lorgar. But there you go. I still think there's more detail on Lorgar though. And compared to some usual minis, usual Horus Heresy minis that you'll find about, it's going to be taller than the Mark 6s, Mark 3s. And then even some 40k minis. We have Space Marine and then a Primaris and Sly Marbo, easily taller than any of those. Definitely the Primaris. So yeah, does this mean that Argel Tal is the third largest character after Lorgar and Argel? Obviously not including the Contemptor and all the tanks and things. Okay, this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for Argel Tal. You'll find his rules in the Horus Heresy 2.0 Liber Hereticus Traitor Legiones Astartes Army book. He is an HQ choice and will cost you 240 points. That's pretty expensive, still cheaper than Zardu Layak at 300, and coincidentally costs the same number of points as Argel. He's cheaper than a full Garv Warback squad, which would cost you 275 points, and he is also cheaper than Erebus and Corpheiron combined. They would cost you 290 points. So what are you getting for the 240 points? Well, his movement speed is 8 inches, weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 5, strength 5, toughness 5, 5 wounds, initiative 5, 4 attacks, leadership 10, and a save of 2+. He pretty much beats Erebus in every category. You know, he's got a better movement, better weapon skill, better strength, toughness, and wounds. Has the same initiative, attacks, leadership, and save though. What's he equipped with? 2 demonic talons, umbral pinions, artificer armor, frag grenades, and crack grenades. He's a character, unique, corrupted, and his special rules: he has Legiones Astartes word bearers, master of the legion, independent character, relentless, bulky 3, feel no pain 5+, rage 2, traitor, warlord, the Crimson Lord. So if he's a warlord, then both Argel Tal and any Garv Warback unit he joins gains a 5+ invulnerable save, and the line unit subtype. Very nice. In addition, an army with Argel Tal as its warlord may make an additional reaction during the opposing player's assault phase, as long as Argel Tal has not been removed as a casualty. So lots of bonuses there for taking him as your warlord. Demonic Talons. It's a melee weapon. Strength of the user, which would be 5. AP is 3 though, and they do have Murderous Strike 5+ and Rending 5+. Very decent, you know, the fact that you got the 4 attacks there at AP 3 as well. Yes, would have been nice to see them at AP 2, but they are just talons at the end of the day. Umbral pinions, so these are his wings. At the start of the controlling player's movement phase, Argel Tal's movement characteristic may be set to a value of 14 for the duration of the controlling player's turn. This allows Argel Tal to move up to 14 inches regardless of the movement characteristic shown on his profile and gain any other benefits of a movement characteristic of 14, including the bonus to charge distance. In addition, when moving in this fashion, Argel Tal ignores terrain while moving and charging, but must take dangerous terrain tests as normal when beginning or ending his movement in dangerous terrain. On turns, when this option is in use, Argel Tal may move over both friendly and enemy models or units without penalty, but must end his movement at least 1 inch away from any model from another unit. Argel Tal may still run while using this special rule if he would normally be able to run, moving up to 19 inches and ignoring terrain and models from the other units while doing so. If Argel Tal runs while using the special rule, he may not make shooting attacks or declare a charge in the same turn. During a reaction made in any phase, a player may not choose to use this special rule to gain any bonus to their movement characteristic. So there you go, a very dangerous unit. I think he's fantastic. Yes, he's pricey, but I do think you get your points worth. You know, he fits extremely well with a Gal Vorbak squad, especially if he is the Warlord. They are getting the 5+ invulnerable save because typically they have a 3+ normal and a 5+ feel no pain. If you have 5 of those, that would be 15 attacks plus his 4, so you've got 19 attacks there with their tainted talons, which of course are an AP3 and Murderous Strike 6+. So a lot of potential to have him with you know, 5 or even 10 Dark Brethren there to really scare your opponent, I suppose. Yes, they're going to suffer from ranged weaponry, but hopefully the Feel No Pain and the invulnerable saves are going to protect them, and also they are bulky, so potentially you could put them into a Land Raider, quite possibly, and run them that way instead of making use of his wings. What do you guys think of Argel Tal? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Be good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Death to the False Emperor.